Thanks to the support as a channel member, Patrick Topor. Well, those of you who stick around for the end of the episodes will have seen the post-credit scene on Friday and know that we were immediately put into a transfer embargo after the last episode, so weren't able to sign anybody to solve the Tom Best problem. Fortunately, Tom Best is best, and he's so good that even though he's been in a grumpy, he's still been playing really, really well. I can't not love him. I take back any bad things I said before. I love that man. Hello and welcome to part 46 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a big away game against supposedly the best team in the league, Chippenham, although they've had a worse start to the season than we've had. And we also face St Francis Rangers in the FA Cup, an FA Cup that we're hoping to have a little run in again this year. We're not. It's September, and we've not even played our first match in it. We go straight into the first qualifying round. That means only 4 wins, and we're back in the real competition again, which would be jolly nice because certainly our club finances need it. We are under transfer embargo. Because, in fact, where's the screen? I can show you that. There you go. There is apparently a board takeover in the process of happening. I mean, it's only been a year, just over a year, since the last takeover. But the last takeover didn't really do anything financially to help solve any of the problems that we have. The debts continue to accumulate. The projection doesn't look good at all. So I guess another new guy, maybe this time, for the first time in 25 plus years of playing Football Manager, maybe this time I will get my Tycoon takeover, my first ever Tycoon takeover. Seems unlikely though, but what a story it would be if we got one. That being said, we still have had quite a decent start to the season. As you can see, we've finally got ourselves into some kind of winning form, won our last 3 matches. Tom Best is still grumpy because we haven't strengthened the squad. We literally can't strengthen the squad now because we're in a transfer embargo. And I suspect, although it's not specifically stated anywhere, I suspect the fact that I can't might have just chilled him out a little bit because it's not me refusing to, it's the club not letting me. And that feels significantly different. So we're 7 games in. We are actually kind of in the mix at the top of the table here. 5th place, just 3 points off the top of the league, and looking pretty good. And the man himself, Tom Best, as you can see, despite being unhappy, is playing nearly as well as he did last year. 8 goal contributions from 7 matches, an average of 7.34. Best is best. I mean, he's too good for us, that's for sure. We just need to cheer him up before his contract's up at the end of the season, because it would be heartbreaking if he led us to another promotion and then just walked out and went and played for someone in Tier 8 because of a silly little got a grumpy glitch, when in reality he'd stay with us. But I've played Football Manager before. Chippenham, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm making a big deal about Chippenham, if you recall, they are huge odds-on favourites to win the league this year. They've got Daniel Bentley in goal, an actual Football League level goalkeeper, plus the entire Dream 11 is pretty much Chippenham players. So you would expect them to absolutely tear us apart. They've not actually had a phenomenal start to the season. As you can see, they've lost as many games as they've won, but I imagine they'll be quite keen to sort that out and solve that problem and get themselves back up where they'll feel they belong in the National League South. Although, you know, they've been at this level for the last couple of years now. They're as bottly as I am when it comes to playoffs, it seems. I don't know where Chippenham is, though, so let's go and find them. Well, it turns out I really don't know where Chippenham is, because if I'd have had to have guessed, I probably would have said Essex. Turns out it's basically in Bristol, just outside of Bath, all the way over here, and surrounded by an awful lot of green. If we zoom in, you've got the whole little town centre situation, and then they look like they're in like a town centre park. That looks like a golf course there, maybe. I mean, it's got running track. Is this a school playing field? It is. So it's a school playing field. And then they've got this little sports complex on the bottom corner of it where you've got Chippenham Cricket Club, Chippenham Tennis Club, Chippenham Netball Club, the Sports Club Dome, the Hockey Club. But of course, what we're interested in is the Football Club, which is down here. We can't get particularly close to said Football Club. Wow. Okay. Can we We'll try and zoom in from here then, shall we? This is as close as we can get. They've got the singing sign, which reminds me an awful lot of the clip and climb where we go when we're in need of morale. Where's the actual route in? I at least want to see the sign to welcome me to Chippenham Football Club. It feels like it would be here somewhere, but I think this is the school. They're very well hidden. No, that's just a school. Well, there you go. Chippenham Secret Football Club is who we're playing, and hopefully we'll thump them. And this is the team we're going to be putting out there for the proposed thumping. It's Bosworth in goal, a back four of Pickering, Easton, Gentile and Leroy. Chambers and Alderson in midfield, Giles, Wright and Best then supporting Butterfill up front. Let's get this team submitted and hopefully get out there and continue this winning form that we've been in. Although, full disclosure, it is Monday as I'm recording this. I haven't opened the game file since Thursday. And you know what that means? We were in good form on Thursday. So we're now probably going to be punished for not playing FM for a few days. Because we're nothing if not superstitious as Football Manager players. We all have our own little Football Manager quirks and superstitions. And that is definitely one of mine. And I'm convinced that we'll lose today. Not only am I convinced that we'll lose, when we lose, I'm going to be convinced it's not my fault. It is the fault of the game, and we don't need to worry about it, do anything about it, change any tactics, take any personal responsibility. It's just the Kev way, and it's absolutely fine. On the topic of me and being fine, one thing I'm not fine about is the fact none of you watch my video that I put out on Saturdays. People ask for something a little bit different. I put out a video about the Euros, and like 4 of you went and watched it. Those 4 people did all say, Kev, we'd love a Euro series. Well, unfortunately, as there seems to be zero interest in it, you probably ain't getting one. That being said, I did look at the analytics, and I for once, I might not blame you lot, because it seems for whatever reason, YouTube in their infinite wisdom decided to not push it. So there's every chance you haven't seen that it exists. So if you are interested in me doing something around the upcoming Euros, go back and look at the previous video on the channel. Give it a watch. Let me know what you think. If you enjoy it, leave it a thumbs up. We might be able to artificially bring it back to life, or bring it to life for the first time in the algorithm. And from there, if it turns out people are looking forward to it or enjoying it, we might do something for the Euros. But yeah, I don't know why YouTube decided to not show you it, but this is why we get pigeonholed into categories on YouTube. I'm the Let's Play guy. If I try and do anything that's not a Let's Play, YouTube are like, well, I'm not showing anyone that in case they don't like it. Thanks, YouTube. You've been a big help. The same video, I put a highlight of it on TikTok, like 200,000 views. TikTok went bananas for it. So imagine a world where I do a Euro series and it's TikTok exclusive because YouTube don't want to push anything other than Let's Play series is for me. Wouldn't that be a sad world for us all to live in? So if you don't want to be in that world, go watch the video, give it a thumbs up, let me know what you think. And while all that's going on, for those of you who are listening along whilst driving your cars, my favourite subsection of the LOLLUJO viewership, it's now 1-1. We took the lead, and then we've just conceded just now. It's 1-1. We'd probably take a draw here because we know how good Chippenham are, and although they've not had the best start to the season, they're certainly a better squad of players than we are. Although, looking at that match momentum, we've been completely in control, apart from the 5-minute period where they scored their goal. We're closing in on 70% possession. We are having a good game, but they've got a corner here, and if they score from it, I'm going to be very, very sad. We've managed to head it clear, but only as far as a Chippenham player, and they are looking to get it back into the area. Butterfill is there defending. Alderson intercepts, and now it's Best. Tom Best. Is Best? Of course, Best. Maybe not today. I was going to do a whole thing there, and he's ruined it. And they are in again here, and I would say completely against the run of play. It's 2-1 to Chippenham, and we've been completely in control of this match. But, and I would hate to use excuses. It just feels like they've just got much better players. They don't need as many chances. They've got this opportunity and they just drill it past Bosworth. There's nothing we can do about that. They've had 32% possession, but that's all they've needed. Right, we've gone attacking. Best's now trying to do a long throw to get it into the area, and Butterfield's been fouled. It looked like in the penalty area. And, I mean, it has been given. And if we were in a league that had VAR, that absolutely gets disallowed because it was right on the edge of the area. but it is a penalty. It's best to take, and it's 2-2. We'll drop back to positive mentality again. We'll take it. A 6th goal of the season for Tom Best, a 50th league goal of his career. The vast majority of them will be for us as well. He had that season at MK Irish before coming to us, but the majority of his career has been spent here at Wembley. And there is a chance that if he carries on in the form that he's in, that he could break Anton Canerva's all-time goal-scoring record this season, which, I mean, would be sad, but also quite handy for us. Right, we're doing some shuffling around here. We're just trying to liven up the attack a little bit because both Giles and Wright not really making any kind of contribution today. So we've pushed Pickering forward, something we have done a couple of times. He's probably more of a winger than he is a defender. He can't really tackle. So, but he is good going forward. He's quick. He's got a decent bit of attacking nous about him. So we do occasionally play him on the left-hand side of midfield here. And here he is in possession. Pickering trying to create something, tries to go past his man. He's actually taking a very heavy touch and giving the ball away, which doesn't really help for my sales pitch of showing you how good he is. And they've got him behind here. And Edwards is really chasing back, trying to get across to him, but can't get there. And I mean, it all comes back to that substitution I just made. In a world where I was taking personal responsibility for today, which remember, I'm not, but in a world where I was, I might feel like I had something to do with that, because not only was it the guy I pushed forward from left back who gave the ball away, the guy who came on to replace him at left back, who's really a centre back, was a little bit out of position and couldn't get back to cover. But I refuse to take responsibility for either of them. We're going very attacking. Club captain Gary Rowe comes on in midfield, and fingers crossed, we can find ourselves another equaliser. We've done it once. We can do it again, surely. It's been a very, very even match. And there is Pickering playing it back to Easton, back with Pickering again. And now Rowe is giving the ball away in midfield. That's very unlike him. And Chippenham, once again, they just nick the ball off us and then just swarm at us. And we just don't seem capable of doing anything about it. They cut through us with ease. And it's 4-2 to Chippenham. And I think we've seen a couple of examples there in that match of them just having a much higher quality of player than we've got. And I'm not too down about coming to Chippenham and losing. I think a lot of teams are going to do that this season, and conceding 5 has upset me a little bit, because I think that is very, very harsh on us. Their XG was maybe 2.5, not even that. And they've got 5 goals. They've had 7 shots on target and scored 5 of them. Bosworth hasn't covered himself in glory today, has he? We've got the chance for a consolation here from a free kick. It doesn't really matter if it goes in or not. I mean, I guess it'll be handy goal difference-wise come the end of the season, but we're taking so long to take it. I wouldn't be surprised if the ref blew for full time while we were faffing around with it. Chambers sticks it in the top corner. It's a lovely free kick, and it absolutely doesn't matter. 97 minutes on the clock now. Chippenham 5, Wembley 3. It's been a goal fest, and it hasn't exactly gone our way. But I guess the positive we can take from it is statistically, it was quite an even match. We were just let down by, I don't even want to say we were let down by a poor goalkeeping performance. I think they just had much higher quality players than us. St Francis Rangers, who we play next, are way down in the county league. So fingers crossed, we can make ourselves feel better with a nice big win. So St Francis Rangers Football Club are all the way down here in this little triangle between Crawley, Worthing and Eastbourne. Who knew there actually is something in this little area of the country? If we have a little look on our satellite imagery and try and find a football pitch, that is St Francis Rangers Football Club, and I'm guessing that's the pitch, or this is the pitch. We've got a bowls club down here. Are we going to see a football pitch there? There certainly doesn't seem to be any floodlights down here. We're not going to be able to see this road. We can't get on at all, but I think we can potentially see it from that gap in the hedges down there. Oh, they've put a fence up. I think it's up there. I mean, what is all that on that fence? They need to repaint the fence, for goodness sake. I don't think we're going to see a football pitch on today's episode. This is unacceptable. It's there, look. Football. There is one floodlight. There we go. There are floodlights. It looks like the clubhouse is behind the goal, though, which is interesting. I don't even know how you get in here. Do they even have a car park? Is this the car park? St Francis Rangers Football Club. And because they are deep down in deepest non-league, we are rotating the team a little bit and having a look at some of our other boys. to get an idea of what we've got in the way of squad depth, give everyone else a rest, because we only played Totherlot a couple of days ago. So we're going with Jack Young in goal, and he is young. He's only 18 years old. And then a back four of Gibson, Easton, Gentile and Coffey. Chambers and our other Young, Leo Young, the one with the spectacles. He's going to play here because we're training him to play as a DM at the moment. So we'll give him a go playing there. We've then got Pickering starting on the left with Hapgood and Clark, and then Diakonu is going to play up front. I would like to get Dolan involved, but he is coming back from injury, so he's going to have to start from the bench, and we'll bring him on as and when we need him. We've got some of the bigger boys on the bench as well, the likes of Best are down there, in case this doesn't go to plan, because I might be being a little bit too clever for my own good. We obviously want and need a cup run, so if I've rotated too far and it all starts to go disastrously wrong, then we can do some rotation around if we need to. Although, to be fair, the back four it's one that we could start in the league. In fact, it might even be one we have started in the league. So I'm not hugely concerned about us conceding goals, although we've never had a look at Young in goal before, so he might be rubbish. It's more whether or not we're going to score goals with this front four. It's very much a case of we've got four good attackers and not really any strength in depth, I don't think. And today we're trying to learn if we've actually got some strength in depth after all. And Clark, who probably is the brightest prospect of the four of them, has just won us a penalty. It's going to be Chambers to take, and hopefully this is going to be us putting ourselves 1-0 up. And Chambers scores. He scored a free kick in the last game. He scored a penalty in this one. He's a set piece specialist. Look at all those Wembley fans we've got behind the goal as well. That is quite a lot of fans to have come to an away game. Bearing in mind, we still don't get very many at home games. They clearly love an FA Cup adventure. I don't know where they've all parked. We just looked at the satellite pictures. There's nowhere for them to have parked. They must have all come on a minibus, probably a maxi bus. So what is it a minibus and a maxi bus? Probably just a bus. Gibson with the in-swinger looking for Gentile, can't find him, and Leo Young has taken the become a midfielder instruction a little bit too close to heart and has tried to do an overhead kick. And we might just never play him in midfield again, because that, frankly, was embarrassing. And in fact, Steve is telling me, get him out of midfield, get him at the back, tell him to be a no-nonsense defender. We want no more nonsense out of Leo Young. It's nonsense enough that we let him play football wearing his spectacles. The fact he's now also trying overhead kicks is not okay. What's also not okay, playing against a tier 10 team as we are, is that we're only one goal up and it came from a penalty. We do seem to be struggling to create anything in the way of, a chance. Young had no idea what to do in midfield there. Although, to be fair, once he had time to make a decision, he played a beautiful pass out to Pickering on the left-hand side, and it led to our best chance of the half. So maybe he just needs a little bit of processing time. Oh, I'm being too harsh on Leo Young today. He's been involved in both the highlights, I guess, and now Pickering has picked up an injury, so I guess that's an easy way to bring Dolan on the left-hand side. Not ideal that our first-choice left-back has picked up an injury playing on the left wing in a rotated team just to see if he can. But it is one of the areas where we've got decent strength in depth. Gibson played there for a lot of last season, so I'm not like super duper worried if he's going to be out injured for a little while. There are obviously players who would be a lot more of a loss. Giles, who would have started there in the absence of Pickering, would have been much more of a problem if he'd have picked up an injury. So I think I'm justified in my rotation. Clark now trying to burst into the area. He's already won us a penalty, and now he's had a decent effort at goal as well and won us a corner. And it would be very nice if we could add a second goal in the very near future. Chambers, who does all the set pieces apparently, is our non-league James Ward-Prowse. Cross comes in, and I thought we'd won another corner. I think Easton thought it as well and decided just not to bother chasing after the ball. The match stats really do demonstrate what I was saying about this front four being problematic, because we've had 14 shots, 7 of them on target, an XG of over 2, and our only goal has come from the penalty spot. And not only is it our only goal, we haven't really had a chance that's been worthy of a highlight. So it is worrisome. We're going to bring Butterfield on, and hopefully with his finishing, we can maybe add a second goal. Butterfield, of course, goes over to take the corner, because why wouldn't he? He's been brought on to score. Why wouldn't he go over and take a corner immediately? It was a poor corner as well. And now St. Francis Rangers have got the chance for a counter-attack, but we intercept. And Dolan who's been out injured for a little while, back in, and now Alderson to Hapgood, who has got space to pick a pass here, but instead tries to beat his man. He's done quite well. Kept hold of the ball nicely there. It does fall to Butterfield, and he can't get his shot away properly. Back with Clark, and now Coffey, the left-footed right back, tries to get it onto his left foot, I think, and because of that, doesn't actually manage to get the cross in. It remains only 1-0. We should be doing a lot better than we are today. Right, Gibson can come off for Leroy. Coffey can go over to left back. That's easy peasy. And then we'll also bring Edwards on. I think we will drop Leo Young back into the back four now. Edwards a little bit more comfortable playing in midfield. So an easy decision to make. Get Young back in a more comfortable position. He's done a 6.3. He hasn't done very well at all in central midfield. So let's get him playing at centre back, and hopefully he can bump his rating up a little bit before the end of the match. But I think we're just about going to hang on. This was much harder work than it was supposed to be. We have got one more highlight here before the final whistle. It's going to be Coffey to take a free kick in the wide areas, and he's very much taken his time with it. It comes all the way across to Alderson, who's in a huge amount of space, and he has got an overlap there. He decides not to use him, plays it back to Clark. Hapgood with the shot. Hapgood has looked lively. He's had a pretty good game. He's done an 8.1 for us, so Hapgood probably the brightest of the four attackers, but nobody's really set the world alight, have they? Although Clark has looked dangerous a couple of times, but then completely gives the ball away there. That was just poor from him. If he's given away a goal, I'm going to be very, very upset. But Young in goal, I mean, that's the first save we've seen him make in the entire match. Pushes it over for a corner, and corner comes in, and they've missed, and hopefully that is that, and their cup run is over. Ours is just beginning. That is terrifying to have only scored one goal in those circumstances. We need the transfer embargo to be dropped so we can bring in some attacking strength in depth. Tom Best was right all along, and now our first choice left back / backup left winger is injured, which is not great either. But if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.